Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenagers Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenagers. Ninjas that are stinky, teenage power.
See, I was gonna go with the classic teenagers scare the living shit out of me.
That is true. That is true. We've known this for a generation and a half by now.
Horrifying teenagers.
Living shit out of me, quite frankly. It's horrifying. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the Lord's 103rd episode of the Duels and Dorks podcast, a Magic the Gathering podcast where we talk about all the news and goings on in the world of Magic the Gathering and make terrible jokes. We're without Wyatt today. Everything's fine. It's just life is really challenging and busy, which is also why it's also why we don't have the Spider-Man review yet.
Well,
Scheduling conflicts. Also, it's Spider-Man. So,
how much do you need to review it, really? You know,
it's only got like 5 draftable archetypes anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably you could do a top 5 cards, and that would be a good enough review.
And honestly, one of them's a common.
Yeah,
Pumpkin Bombardment is awesome, dude.
Yes, it is.
It's really good. It's really, really good. But yeah, the Duels and Dorks podcast, you can get it every other week. Free feeds, Google Podcasts haven't existed for like a year and a half. Apple, YouTube Music, Spotify, all the podcast services around the globe every other Monday on free feeds. If you want early ad-free access, you can join the Patreon, patreon.com/dungeonbros. $5 a month gets you early ad-free access to all of the podcasts. You can join for free, submit inquiries to the show, join at the $15 a month tier or higher. Get your name read in the show like Brandon Vole, the Oest of G's. You know Brandon quite well. The man, the myth, the legend. Keeps the lights on here. Not very bright, but the lights are on.
You can only do so much as an individual man.
I can't see now. Anyway, Sam, this is the first like regular episode of the podcast you've been on for a hot minute. So I want to start off with recapping how's Magic for you right now. How involved you being? Like, have you played a lot of Spider-Man? Like, what's the vibe?
So I've not played a lot of Spider-Man, I'll be honest. I did stop by my local game store the day after the pre-release and picked up a pre-release kit from Spider-Man, and they had some older ones, and I grabbed one from Edge of Eternities as well.
Have you played around much with the Edge of Eternities cards?
A little bit. Is this my nope? I did pull one particular card that I went ahead and just built a collection build out of, and that's the Lobster Man.
Oh yes, of course.
Yes, and
Rock Lobster.
It is quite fun. I'll tell you. You add a little bit of lifelink, and it gets out of hand.
Really?
A
Yeah.
little bit of lifelink goes a long way.
Have you seen the Pinnacle Emissary card? It's the Is It Artifacts rare. It's
Yes.
one red blue. It's an artifact creature. Whenever you cast an artifact, or whenever an artifact enters, you create a 1/1 artifact Thopter token, and it's got warp for hybrid Is It mana.
Yeah.
1 hybrid Is It mana. That thing's a fucking powerhouse, dude. It's made between that and Mox Opal, like Modern Affinity is a thing again. And I have a version of it on Arenas with a couple of Arena exclusive cards. And that deck fucks so hard on Arena. It's
I can imagine you building up just so many drones real quick.
Well, it's like you're casting all these 0 mana things. You're warping on turn 1, the Pinnacle Emissary. You've got like a ton of artifacts in play. And then suddenly Kappa Cannoneer is like 1 mana and a bunch of tapped artifacts. It's a very good deck, and it's one of the decks where I have often found myself on the play a land, warp in Emissary, cast Mox Opal, and as I'm beginning to cast to the next thing, they just scoop. They're just like, we're done. I'm not doing this anymore.
We know what's happening here. Don't need
Exactly.
Yep.
So I think Edge of Eternities might be my favorite set of the year, and I was not expecting that because Tarkir was very good.
I was going to say, going into it, I was watching as previews were coming out, and I'm just like, man, Edge of Eternities, I want it to be cooler. I wanted it to be more Star Wars, if I'm going to be honest, because I love Star Wars.
Well,
But yeah,
that set's coming at the
honestly-
end of next year.
Oh, what? Is it?
Got him with the classic.
Why are you like this?
That joke's been made since like the 70s.
Yeah, been around for a while, but still.
What were we saying? I don't know anymore.
Who knows?
Edge of Eternities is great. I'm glad you got that pre-release kit of all the ones you could have gotten. Glad you didn't get. Glad unlike my local game store, you didn't get saddled with a $20 Ether Drift pre-release kit, which they still have pre-release kits at my local game store for Ether Drift.
Mine does as well.
It's sad, dude. It's so sad.
What
Anyway,
sucks about hold on, before we go on, Aether Drift had some really cool stuff, and I have seen somebody point out that like if you get collector boosters of Aether Drift, you're more likely to get the chase cards because they're still in there and still worth money, but everything else in the set is worthless.
there's like just a weird number of like really good rares and like some really solid commons and uncommons, like the Marauding Mako, the cycling shark that gets +1/+1 counters on it. Like there's gems in that set. It's just the theme sucks so bad. It's just awful.
So off
Oh
base.
god. But we're not here to talk about Ether Drift. We're not here to talk about Edge of Eternities or Spider-Man. And the fact that I'm saying Edge of Eternities is my favorite set of the year when Final Fantasy came out is Edge of Eternities is damn good. We're here to talk about the last of the announced sets for 2026, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. A lot of new information for this set. It's going to be coming after Lorwyn Eclipse. The official release for that is March 6th, 2026. We'll get into a little bit of... we'll break down the products, get into a little discussion about the size of the set compared to some other sets we've been getting, quickly go over the Final Fantasy like holiday bundle stuff. But before we do all that, I need to talk to you about the super drop from the Secret Lair that just happened. The Secret Lair super drop. The scare drop. Okay.
Yeah.
Scalped to high heaven. And I found the method that works, which, by the way, shout out to our fallen brother, Wyatt, the typical Gemini himself. He's not dead. He's not dead, but Wyatt attempted to get the Jaws secret lair and sat in line for quite a while, only to fail by the time it was his turn to check out. May his cards rest in peace.
Requiescat in pace.
It's rough. But the secret here, and I found a random like YouTube short about this, and I was like, I'll give it a try. So the site for the secret layers goes under maintenance like this at midnight the day of a drop. About an hour before the drop, the site opens up, but none of the new product is available to add to your cart. If you go to an old secret lair, like I picked the Spider-Man like newspaper article secret lair, add that to your cart, and then you go to check out, it throws you in a waiting queue until the drop time for the super drop. And when that drop time happens, because you already were attempting to check out, all the people that have done that just automatically get assigned a random place in line before anyone else is able to add product to their cart and then get in line. So I managed to get 4 secret lairs.
Oh.
And 2 of them were the Artist Series Kieran, the one that has the Demonic Tutor. Gonna keep one, gonna sell one to cover the cost. And then my partner into the metal music, she wanted the Eddie Secret Lair because Iron Maiden stuff is cool. And then I got one for myself because the reprint value is out of this fucking world for that one. So keep that in mind for future Secret Lair drops. About a half hour to an hour before the drop time, add a random Secret Lair to your cart. go to checkout, it'll throw you in the queue, and then when you actually go to checkout, you can just remove that and add whatever is available to your cart that you want to buy. So, pro tip.
I'm looking at Secret Lair right now, and you still have the opportunity right now to go buy any of the Furby sets that you want.
That's not going to happen.
Well, you don't want cursed objects in your house again? Again?
I already got rid of you.
Hey, I only was in your house for like a weekend.
Not counting the 4 years we lived together in an apartment.
That was a townhouse.
That was a townhouse. But yeah, no. The Furby, the specific edition of the Furbies that had like the weird texture foiled things, those all sold out immediately because they're weird texture foils, even though I digress. Most of the Secret Lairs sucked, but a couple of them were good, and then the good ones nobody could buy. So
I will say I went ahead and bought the Play-Doh ones.
Oh yes, of course.
And these are actually super cool.
Yeah.
And charity.
Goes to a great cause and print to demand, baby.
Print to demand.
Isn't it nice? It's so simple. You can do it now. It's been available for like a month. You can still go buy those things. And the cards look awesome. Anyway, let's get into the meat today. Universes Beyond Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was kind of spoiled at New York Comic Con because there was a food truck that had Magic the Gathering cross Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the side of it like 2 days before the announcement. So that was fun. But we do have some initial information about the set and the products available within. You're, of course, going to get your standard array, play boosters, collector boosters, the bundle. There is a commander deck available now. A $70 commander deck. A very big price increase from even our most recent Universes Beyond sets that had commander decks, because Spider-Man didn't even have commander decks. But this is vastly more expensive than the Final Fantasy ones were. To go with that, there is only one Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle commander deck. It's a 5-color deck that has a generic value Turtles commander. And they even took out the collector booster sample pack. Stingy motherfuckers. Stingy motherfuckers. Is $70 too much for a premium commander deck for just a Universes Beyond set?
So, I mean, we talk about this anytime there is a premium commander deck, because we talked about this with Modern Horizons and Commander Masters, where those decks were just bananas out. I mean, they were good decks, don't get me wrong. 3 out of 4 in each set were good decks.
Yeah.
But they were just so expensive. Here, it's hard to say, is this as a Universes Beyond thing going to be itself more valuable?
Mm-hmm.
Which people are very much not. I think the Universes Beyond arc has kind of passed, and we're going on a downhill because we're seeing a lot of content creators, start to talk. Even those who were before are very much like, oh yes, it's a good thing, or it's an okay thing, or it's just a thing, are now onto the it's a downhill thing. So pricing it at $70 being an individual thing is a bit strange to me.
It's just a standard commander deck. Now, the argument can be made, instead of a foil commander and then a foil backup commander, you're actually getting 4 foil backup commanders because the individual turtles themselves are cards that you can run as a commander. But you can't actually do that out of the box because they all have like a partner with kind of mechanic. It's partner character select, and you can pick any 2 turtles as your commander, but then you leave out 3 of the other colors that actually make up the deck, so you can't do that out of the box. And
as long as you have Leonardo as your commander, because he is the only. You're correct. He is white in casting cost, but he has 5 colors in his activated ability.
Oh, that is true.
So you can pair him with any of the other 3 turtles or Master Splinter. But yes, otherwise, yeah, it's a very interesting choice to be like, hey, you have to play. I mean, yes, as a commander deck, usually you have to play either this or this, but
I also want to point out the Heroes in a Half Shell, which is the face commander, Wooburg 5/5, legendary mutant ninja turtle, vigilance, menace, trample, haste. Whenever one or more mutants, ninjas, and or turtles you control deal combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures and draw a card. The most generic, nothing value pile for mutants, ninjas, and turtles in Wooburg colors.
Right.
We got the Cosmic Spider-Man as just the generic, like, here's all the shit that cares about your spiders. Avatar Aang, just the generic, like, here's the thing that cares about all the set mechanics unique to Avatar. At least when we were getting, like, 5-color cards in these sets before, like, I think of Tom Bombadil from Lord of the Rings. That's like a Saga's commander. And it is kind of just generic value for Sagas, but at least that's, like, a little bit... It's not just like pick all your favorite creatures of this creature type, you know?
Or Ulalek from Ulalek, who was a 5-color Eldrazi commander, but you still had to work to actually make that more than just a
absolutely
weird doubling.
Yeah. So I feel a little weird about that, but $70 I think is way too much. Even it's not a collector edition commander deck where all the cards are foils. Like it's a little ridiculous. Yeah. Play boosters, collector boosters, about the same that you would expect. We also have we have a new type of bundle available for you. The pizza bundle. It is in the shape of a pizza box. It is $100. And for your $100, you get 9 play boosters, a collector booster, 25 non-foil pizza lands, 5 foil pizza lands, and 2 of the 6 available cards from Magic's Past that have pizza-themed artwork. The only one we've seen so far is Master Splinter with a piece of pizza on a dark ritual. The regular bundle is $70, so it is $30 cheaper. And when you get the regular bundle, you're foregoing the collector booster. You're foregoing all of the pizza lands in terms of just regular basics. And then you get 1 promo card that is not the same as the pizza themed artwork cards available in the pizza bundle. I want to point out the pizza lands specifically because there's been a lot of discourse about people thinking that they're AI generated because they look weird. I personally think that they look weird because the people on Twitter that are complaining don't remember the 90s.
Very possible, yeah.
Like that cheese pull from the Goofy movie with that pizza, like that it's a whole to do. Now, looking at the pizza lands, which one is your favorite topping combination?
Well, let me hold on.
It's in the link for the Turtles thing. It's under the Dark Ritual card. Because we've got plains, which looks to be chips, bananas, and like some kind of nuts. And then you have the anchovies, onions, and then some kind of amorphous. I have no fucking idea what that other ingredient is. Okay. The swamp, you got the mushrooms, you got beans, and then yet another unidentifiable thing. You got raspberry pepperoni for the mountain, and then broccoli, kiwi, and pepper for the forest. So
just had a brain blast, just a Jimmy Neutron style. I realized just now why they're all weird toppings is because that is what they order in like the 80s movie, the 80s or 90s High movie. Yeah, it's like just weird combinations. I think just looking at this, probably that's the swamp pizza is the most quality ingredients altogether.
I am inclined to agree with that. Interestingly, not really a pineapple on any of these pizzas, which I feel like is kind of the standard, like, oh, that's a weird topping. I do want to say I was going to say the forest because broccoli peppers seems fine until the kiwi's on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
But the swamp, like that other amorphous thing, it has to be some kind of fruit because
That's
all of
yeah.
them, regardless, I'm good. If you want pizza lands, you need to get them in a collector booster in the draft night bundle or the pizza bundle.
Yeah.
The
That's what you have
draft
to do.
Yep. The Draft Night Bundle is going to be returning from Lorwyn Eclipsed, where it's going to be introduced. $120 for 12 play boosters, a collector booster, 90 non-foil basics, 10 non-foil double-sided tokens. It is about $30 if split four-way to do a four-person pick two draft, which is what these are designed to be. $30 notably more than the cost of 3 play boosters for a draft, because you got to subsidize the cost of the collector booster. I will say what I said when Wyatt and I were talking about the Lorwyn Eclipsed Draft Night bundle. If this was $99.99 or like $89.99, slam dunk.
Mm-hmm.
But at over $100, $120 in this case, I think it's a little ridiculous. But let's get you on the record for the first time about the Draft Night bundle experience.
I'm curious to see how well this product will sell, right? Because obviously, that's kind of the origins of packs is a draft. Getting together 6 or 8 of your friends, getting a draft booster box, or going to draft night. And obviously, we've seen the growth of the 4-player format to be more common here recently, in the past decade. I don't know if this, even with what this is, I don't know if this is something I would think to still go out and buy if I wanted to do a 4-player draft experience. I don't know if this specific cube is something, like you said, that I'm willing to pay $120 for.
So the math on this.
Ooh, yeah, break it down.
$7 per pack times 12 packs, $84. Plus the MSRP of a collector booster at $38 gets you to $122. So you're saving about $3 on the packs.
Yeah.
And then you get thrown a bunch of basic lands and tokens.
And of course, then you have to ask, okay, well, what is the use of this collector booster, right? Is it going to be the reward for the person who wins draft night? Is it going to be the person who bought the box?
Yeah.
Just takes that, it.
I think the implied course of action is that the collector booster is the prize for the winner of draft night.
Right.
And that the idea is you get 3 buddies, you each throw in $30, and then you get this little bundle you can all open and play with and compete for a collector booster. And in theory, that idea is amazing.
In theory.
If it was $99.99 and each person was throwing in $25, so you're getting a $3 premium on the packs at a chance for a collector booster, and then you get all of a whole bunch of basic lands that you can split up of all the fancy new art for the set, and then the fancy tokens for the set. That is a good product.
I think so.
This on the other hand, it's too expensive. Way too expensive.
Yep. And then, of course, like I said, the 4-player aspect of it, the reason you draft with 6 to 8 people is so you can see more cards and you get more artifacts. Because we all, we've all opened packs and just like, man, this is just a bum pack. Like this has, if, for example, doing for limited, you can like, wow, this entire pack had nothing I can use.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're still seeing a bunch of cards, but you're seeing far less than if you had another 6 to 10 to 12 packs in this pool.
No, absolutely. And like it with the pick 2 format in general, you're going to just be seeing fewer cards overall, and you're going to be forced to take a lot more cards you don't necessarily want. As they've had pick 2 draft available on arenas for a while now, and the people that play a lot of Arena's draft have done a lot of deep dives into the difference between the card pools in those formats, even in the same set. And just the general consensus is you're going to have much less consistency in a pick two draft just because you're going to be getting a lot more shit you don't want.
Right.
And so it's just muddying up the pool. But yeah, draft night bundle, good idea, bad price. Improve the $99.99, $89.99, slam dunk. I think that's a good deal. Otherwise, move on. Good luck. The last
team up.
The last one, the Turtle Team Up, which I think is the most interesting by far of this entire lineup. Turtle Team Up is a beginner box of sorts. It includes, let's see, where is it? Here we are. It includes 4 play boosters and then 4 themed decks. Pre-constructed decks, one around each of the 4 main turtles. Each deck consists of 60 cards from the main set and from the commander set. It also includes an enemy deck that has 39 cards designed exclusively for the Turtle Team Up experience. You also have some punch-out counters, some deck boxes, and a tutorial book. This is a co-op play experience. So the idea is you get 4 people, 4 decks, and then you're together working against this enemy deck, whatever that is. I'm interested to see what the enemy deck is specifically, because if it's just regular cards, then you just have more cards in the card pool, because these are designed specifically for this experience. If they're not like your standard Magic cards, like if they don't have a Magic back and they literally only work in this format, it's slightly less interesting. But even then, at a price point of $50, 4 packs, 7 is going to be 28, so that's a little bit more than half. And then you're looking at $22 for 4 60-card pre-constructed, basically beginner decks. So if you're the kind of person that likes getting a welcome deck, a beginner deck, I think in terms of price, very competitive and an interesting way to interact with this set in general. What do you make of the Turtle Team Up?
There is a product that I remember, it was before you and I started really playing. I believe it was a Theros product that also kind of centered around the idea of an enemy non-player deck. And I'm just blanking on what that product was. But there are other formats, fan formats that have been popping up, especially recently that I've seen. One specifically is called Battle the Horde, I believe, which is an online experience where the computer runs a tokens-based deck essentially, and plays it in a certain way, and it's a co-op experience. And I've played it a little bit, and it's actually very fun. So I do really like the idea of a co-op experience, especially when you're getting new people in. It's sometimes very hard to sit down across from somebody who's super experienced and have them simultaneously tell you, all right, you should play a land this turn and tap it, and if you have 1-drop spell, well, not that 1-drop spell, as opposed to being able to sit next to them and be like, oh yeah, so if you use this here and this here, then this is the effect that will happen. So I think that's a really cool aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Are these gonna, how are these theme decks going to then integrate into the rest of the main set? Because they do say cards included from the main set and the commander product.
Yeah. But there's a lot of unanswered questions about this set, and those specifics are going to really break down whether or not this product is actually good. I searched Theros on the Magic article archive, and I don't find anything here.
Well, you keep talking. If I come.
So those are the core product offerings from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. You can also, of course, get the pre-release kit. Those are exactly like they always are. 6 packs, 1 pre-release foil rare mythic, and then a deck box and a spin down die. So that's your standard experience. Overall, I think the product line is fine, but again, Universes Beyond premium pricing is slightly problematic. The last thing I think of note for this section, I want to point out a new card mechanic that we have a little bit of an explanation for. Sneak is a keyword ability that is present on the Turtles, and it's ninjutsu. It's basically ninjutsu. You can when you can cast it for the sneak cost. You have to return a unblocked creature that is attacking to your hand to cast the spell. But notably, sneak appears on non-creature cards as well. So that kind of adds a little bit of an interesting variety into it. Beyond that, we got to see the commander, face commanders. It's fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. The more interesting bit about the TMNT set that I want to get into from Weekly MTG, the Weekly MTG show put on by Wizards of the Coast, where they disseminate a lot of information to the fans. On this last one, we got a very good stream from. Oh my god, I wrote it down. I need to prep this a little bit better. I do the prep. I need to read from the prep instead of scrolling through the article like a fucking idiot. But Weekly MTG host Blake Rasmussen confirmed on MTG that the MTG TMNT set will be a small set of 190 cards as opposed to the more normal 250 to 300 card set, which is actually 3 cards fewer than Spider-Man. Spider-Man was very criticized for having a small card pool and not a lot of design. It just didn't really work in a limited environment. Because of that, he did go out of his way to stress that the TMNT set was originally designed to be the size of 190, unlike Spider-Man, which was originally an Aftermath-style set, much like we saw with Assassin's Creed as well, where they had to balloon Spider-Man up into more of a full set and get up to that 193 card pool. The set size was a conscious decision, knowing that 2026 is going to have 7 sets. Wizards of the Coast is trying to keep from increasing the standard card pool too much. They're trying to keep the inflation of the card pool and standard under control. That said, 2026 will be printing more cards into standard than 2025 to the tune of about 120 cards, which to me seems to completely defeat the entire purpose. Lorwyn Eclipsed is confirmed to be more of a typically sized set, while other sets other than TMNT will have a reduced size as well, though he doesn't get into specifics. My bet is on the Star Trek set being a reduced size, personally. Do you have concerns that TMNT is going to play similar to Spider-Man and be too limited? Or do you think that the fact that they designed it from the ground up to have this smaller card pool is going to be in its favor? Are you worried that they're going to fuck up standard even more? Are they going to print? Are they going to print? What is it? Is it Bebop and Rocksteady? And it's going to be like this fucking crazy card that's super well costed, and it's going to just completely ruin the format.
I mean, that's always a concern when Wizards is doing anything these days. But as my hope is that it will be better, because of course, like you said, the Spider-Man set was built up in a panic because it was supposed to be a Aftermath style set, whereas this is being built with these things in mind. And there's the classic phrase, lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part.
Yeah.
And that does not seem to be the standard recognition at Wizards among many companies. So I would hope that with all this planning that they're doing, and the fact that they're coming out and saying, "Hey, we're planning around this. We're going to make sure it's good." You would hope that they're right. Usually, when they pretty airball pretty hard on one set, the next time they mention something like that, usually they strike it pretty rich. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I agree. Usually these kind of like failure sets don't really happen back to back in a Universes Beyond sense. Like I think Avatar is going to be pretty solid. I do think TMNT will be solid, and I'm interested to see how a smaller card pool that's well designed plays. Maybe a bit more consistency at pre-release would be nice. Maybe actually 10 draftable archetypes instead of just 5.
Right, and even when you have 10 draftable archetypes, usually it's like, okay, you're gonna all, the meta is leaning this way.
Yeah.
So maybe if it's a tight card pool with really like good mechanics, then
Like
it's
heavy
like,
overlap.
heavy overlap. Yes, then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I can run Selesnya, or I can run Simic, or I can run Bant.
Yeah. And one of the things I think they did in Spider-Man to try and like fix that a little bit, they had a lot of hybrid mana in Spider-Man. And I think those hybrid mana symbols can fix a lot of problems in smaller draft and limited pools. Side tangent. I want to get you on the record with this. My big commander hot take in terms of color identity.
Okay.
Hybrid mana symbols should be legal in either color. A mono blue commander deck should be able to run cards that are hybrid mana like blue white. That's just me. We need to crack open the color identity restriction a little bit in Commander, personally.
I could. It's one of those where, I do. So obviously a big thing that they like to think about in design is not breaking the color pie. And so adding those hybrid mana colors or symbols really does help kind of like mitigate that problem in Commander. Because like, like when you get a color breaking card, like a mono red counterspell, that card is hot. That card is necessary. But then now you're saying in a mono red deck there are definitely hybrid mana,
like hybrid Izzet cards.
Yeah, Izzet cards, which I think could lead to more interesting and more open card pools to build different archetypes. Like I have a Kazul, the Tyrant of the Cliffs deck that I love to build, but it's mono red and there's just not the support for that in there.
Yeah.
But if I were able to like reach into black in particular or white in particular, who knows? Maybe that could really be really beneficial for me.
Because I'm thinking, like I brought it up earlier, the Pumpkin Bombardment from the Spider-Man set. I would love to run that in my beloved Narset Enlightened Exile deck because it's a creature removal spell for 1 mana that also is a discard outlet for a card in my hand that I can then cheat out on her attack trigger. But it's hybrid with black, so I can't play it.
Right.
And that kind of stuff just doesn't feel right. And we keep seeing more and more of these hybrid mana symbols as sets are going on, especially the Universes Beyond sets to try and like blend the archetypes a little bit. We saw it with Tarkir Dragonstorm too, like especially those hybrid mana symbol cards that have like 3 hybrid mana on it. It's like just if it fits the color, like if all the pips are fulfilled with 1 color in a monocolor deck, just let it run. Or in the color identity of your commander, I'd say let it. I don't think that's going to break it anything wide open. I think it's just going to add more to the card pool, more choice available to you in more limited archetypes, in my opinion. Anyway, that's my side tangent with that done. There is one more thing for the weekly MTG stream that is worth talking about. The next one, which will be the day this podcast goes out to live feeds, is going to feature William Jensen and Gavin Verhey. They're going to discuss updates to the Commander bracket system. They've talked a little bit about possible card unbannings and being added to the Game Changers list. I'm sure they're going to be refining the Game Changers list quite a bit, but it seems like they might be going into possibly a little bit more about the definition of the various brackets. The details are obviously not known yet. They're going to get into that next week. Do you like the Commander bracket system as it has been? It has had one major update so far where the card pool for the Game Changers list was updated. A couple of cards were unbanned. Do you like where it's at right now? Do you really interact with the bracket system at all?
I mostly play in a very very small play group, of which I've built more than half the decks, I think. So I'm in a very unique situation.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to go to a Magic Con or an SCG Con or something and actually get to experience this. Um, and while it's another, I think I'm in the same boat as when it was first announced, first put out, when we first saw it. It's an option or it's a possible solution to a problem, but I don't think it's an ultimate solution like
Mm-hmm.
they're, I think, attempting to make. You can keep adding rules and you keep making definitions and you can keep adding cards and certain archetypes into categories, but at the end of the day, it's like you can still run a jank deck with mass land destruction
Yeah.
as your only form of stopping your opponents, for example.
Yeah. The in how I've experienced it at the game store at Gen Con, the commander bracket system has been a better door opening question for that rule zero conversation that's super necessary. Because it's like, oh, what bracket are you? Oh, I'm this, but I have this many game changers. I'm running these cards. And it's like, oh, okay, so are you trying to, and then it actually like sparks the conversation. I think that's the best part of the bracket system, is that it's just like the shorthand that has actually well-defined categories, as opposed to the, oh, I'm a power level 7. That meant nothing. Like the game changers list specifically, I think, is the huge benefit for
Right.
the bracket system and just opening up the conversations. I think more cards being added to the game changers list would be a good thing. I think unbanning more cards and putting them onto the game changers list would be a good thing, because it is kind of a way of, like other formats where you can play 4 copies of, you can do full ban, or you can do restricted, where you can run like 1 copy or 2 copy. Can't really do that in Commander because of the singleton format nature of it. But with that game changers list, it is kind of a way to be like, yeah, you kind of are restricted, because if you're going to play X number of these cards, then you're going to have to be building a deck that is ready to compete with possibly more powerful decks to try and keep things even. That's the biggest benefit I've had for the system.
That's fair.
Personally. But we'll see next week. By the time this goes live and you're listening to this, you probably already know what the bracket changes are, and you can tell us at patreon.com/GenBros. You can join for free. Let us know in the comments. The other thing being announced, Jensen is going to go into a new play series. So a new pro tour style thing, which would be cool. I think the return of that kind of support would be very good from Wizards of the Coast. And then some other assorted smaller format updates for Standard ahead of the upcoming BNR. That's going to be November 10th. And then they're going to be addressing Pioneer. A lot of people saying Pioneer's been ignored. WotC doesn't know what's going on. They do know it exists. We can't confirm they know Pioneer exists, which they actually...
all of their energy getting it on arenas. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh, they put so much energy trying to get it on arenas. And the card pool still isn't 1-to-1, but it's pretty close. So, big win there. Time for the wrap-up, though. Magic: The Gathering Final Fantasy. The most successful set of the year by far in terms of monetary value. Very similar to the Lord of the Rings set of several years ago. They decided, you know what? Let's make some fucking holiday boxes, baby. We got 4 scene boxes coming for Final Fantasy. For Final Fantasy 1, 8, 9, and 15. A slight price increase from when we had them from Lord of the Rings at $41.99 per box. They will come with 3 play boosters of Final Fantasy and then 6 new designed borderless foil cards with matching art cards to go with them. They are going to be the exact same style product that we've seen out of Spider-Man, that we've seen out of Lord of the Rings. It's going to come with this really cheap cardboard frame. Love that. So you can display the art together. Go on Amazon, buy a $20 6-card frame that's like nice, and just do that instead. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The new card designs, we have seen all of them. There's a lot of pretty good There's a lot of pretty cool designs in there in terms of like instant speed stuff that you can do, clone effects. You're not a huge Final Fantasy guy. Do you really give a shit about any of these?
I'm not a huge Final Fantasy guy. However, I did buy a Final Fantasy deck, so that's about as far as I've gotten. Um, it's cool. If they want to keep making money off, they want to keep printing their money, they can go for it.
I agree. I when it came to the Lord of the Rings scene boxes, I got like all of them because I'm in trouble. I'm an addict. I'm addicted to that franchise. For Final Fantasy, 1, 8, 9, and 15 are interesting choices. I think it's smart that they kept them separate from the ones they chose to use for the commander decks. Because those already had a lot of overlap. I think it's good they avoided 7 because that one had a lot of cards printed for it. I would have liked one of them to be 16 because that didn't have a lot of representation because that game was coming out in the middle of the design process of this set, so they could only throw in a small smattering of cards for it. I think that would have been a good opportunity. But some of these cards, much like the Lord of the Rings scene box cards, are pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like I want to call out one of the better board wipes that I've seen in a long time. Fated Clash, 3 white. It's a sorcery, but you can cast it as though it had flash if a creature is attacking and a creature is blocking. Target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls each gain indestructible until end of turn, then destroy all creatures. So you can pick your opponent's 1/1 token. You can pick your best thing, your commander, whatever, and then wipe the board of everything else right before your turn for 5 mana. I think that's pretty good. There's Flash Photography, 2 blue sorcery. You can cast the spell if it had flash. If it targets a permanent you control, you create a token copy of a target permanent, and then you can flash it back for 4 blue. Very good clone effect. There's a lot of interesting game pieces here. That's what I'm super excited for. But am I gonna get them all? Probably.
With the Lord of the Rings ones in particular, those scene box cards. I'm thinking, like, obviously that set's been out. Those cards have been out for a while now, and I'm just kind of thinking. I've watched a lot of Magic content. I've played a lot of Magic here since that time, and it's like, man, I can think of like maybe 2 or 3 times since those have been released where I've actually seen those cards in use, and I think for a lot of it that was because, availability of the cards aside, which I think they were decently available because they were still being sold like a year later in stores.
Yeah.
They were just very niche. Whereas I think, like you're saying, there are a lot of good game pieces here. And maybe even some things that are not necessarily build-arounds, which was a lot of the scene box cards from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings were very synergistic with one another. It was kind of like, here's your starter kit for a commander deck about this card.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool to have, but these cards, more on an individual basis, are also really good. Now, with Lord of the Rings, like the elf one with Galadriel, those instants and sorceries and stuff were pretty fucking good. But like that was a standout box of the 4. I think these ones, there aren't as like many big spikes in power, but there's a lot of interesting build around commanders too. Like Squall Gunblade Duelist. He's a human 3/2 whatever first strike. When he enters, you choose a number. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents, if any of those creatures have power or toughness equal to the chosen number, Squall deals damage equal to its power to defending player. Like that's a fun thing, and it's open-ended. It could be 1, it could be 7. Like there's so many different ways, like so many different permutations of that kind of a deck that you're building around. So I think they're cool. Probably not going to get all of them. I say that now. I want the 15 one because I like Final Fantasy 15, even though those cards aren't as great. But
I will say I did actually go, and after the Final Fantasy set was released, I kind of had the thought of maybe I'll just go play all the Final Fantasy games.
don't do that. Do not do that.
What I'll say is I did play the original, which is obviously Final Fantasy 1, and as far as nostalgic games go, like I never played it as a kid, but I played plenty of games like it, and I had a lot of fun there. And so I'm kind of looking at the Final Fantasy Scene Box 1, and it's like I don't need it, but it's cool.
You can get into that.
I could be all right with this.
And Final Fantasy 1 is one of those games that you can be nostalgic for without ever having existed in that period.
Yeah.
It's got that vibe to it. Don't play 8. 8's story's cool, characters are cool, great. Gameplay fucking blows. Fat nards, dude. Awful. We are also getting 2 other products with this holiday release. A new bundle, the Chocobo bundle, for $110. You get 10 packs of standard. You get 32 landmark basics, which half of them are foil. Those are the same basic full art lands that you got in the Final Fantasy set. And then 10 new Chocobo track basic lands. So new basic lands that you can get. Very exciting, I know. You also get 2 of the 20 Chocobo track foil borderless Chocobo bundle exclusive cards. They're all going to be... the bundle cards are all reprints from the main and commander set with new art and foil and like a fancy treatment in the foil. One of them, though, is not, and that's a reprint of Snapcaster Mage. So that's brand new for the Final Fantasy stuff. It's going to have the commander set symbol. And then you get a guaranteed Birds of Paradise as Paradise Chocobo. You also get 1 of the 24 cards from the scene boxes and a Chocobo click wheel for $110. Not great.
No.
Should have been a collector booster in there, and then $110 sounds
a little bit better.
A little bit better. I will say I bought 1 Final Fantasy bundle, and the Final Fantasy bundle came with extended art legends from the set in foil. And that slot in collector boosters, you could only get the non-foil extended arts. So the only way to get the foil extended arts of these main set legends was from the bundles. So those cards specifically from the bundles randomly, even though like their base printings were like 40 cents, the extended art foil versions that you got from the original bundle were like $25.
Yeah.
It just made no sense, just because of supply constraints. So I think that the bundle exclusive cards being exclusive new art with a special foil treatment, I think regardless of which card you pull, the value on it's going to be way more than the base version of that card, which can help make up some of the cost there. We know that like the powerhouse, a lot of the powerhouses are going to be reprinted. They showed us Cloud Midgard Mercenary, one of the most expensive mythics from the set. Mog Moogle Warrior from one of the commander decks is there. And then I think Snapcaster Mage is probably going to be pretty valuable. It's got like an anime looking thing with a fucking chocobo on it and then a fancy foil treatment. Like it's gonna hold some value. You gonna pick up a $110 bundle?
No. I'm gonna be honest, no.
Fuck no.
Usually the reason I love to pick up a bundle is they are such a great deal compared to other products.
And just value compared to getting that number of packs.
Yeah. And then you get the additional lands, you get the specific box topper, we'll call it. But no, here's the real thing I was thinking of while you were reading the description of what's in the Chocobo bundle is I think you might have accidentally summoned a Chocobo in the complex wording of that. There are so many descriptors. 2 of 20 Chocobo track foil borderless Chocobo bundle cards only available. Too many descriptors. They have too many ratio.
It really
too many breakdowns of what you're gonna get.
They love to give a fancy name to all their shit. So Chocobo track foiling is different than traditional foiling because it's got the little Chocobo footprints all over it. And then the Chocobo bundle card arts, the borderless Chocobo bundle art cards in the Chocobo track foiling process. Fuck that. I'm good. The last thing, we are getting a rerun of the Final Fantasy VII Commander deck specifically, because it's going to come with a PC code for the original Final Fantasy VII game, not the remake, and a foil promo of Cloud Midgar Mercenary with art from the cover of the original game. So if you're looking to get, and if you're still wanting to play Final Fantasy games, it's not the remake. But the original Final Fantasy VII is still pretty dang good if you're into that PS1 style graphics.
I was going to say I have the remake for free through PlayStation exclusive, or not exclusive,
the
but
Plus.
PlayStation Plus, yeah.
Yeah. I did too. That's how I played it.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, if you like PlayStation 1 games and you somehow never played Final Fantasy VII, weirdo, and you also don't have the Limit Break deck, well, bang on, have at it, man. Says nothing about what the price is on it, so can't tell you if it's a good deal or not.
Nope, no idea.
But yeah, well, there she blows. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all we have for this, the Lord's 103rd episode of the Duels of Man Dorks podcast. Chocobo. Sam, it's been a pleasure. It's like the good old days. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being flexible to help fill in. Wyatt and I with this fall schedule we have is just it's difficult, man. We both really
hard.
It really is. It really is. It fucking sucks. It's ridiculous. And Wyatt's over there like, oh, I've got 2 kids. I got to take you to the game. I got to go take care of this baby. We got to get a babysitter. It's like, okay, Dad, we get it. Like, get over yourself. Come talk to me about magic cards for an hour. Forgo your family.
Probably the only thing you want to do is talk to us about magic cards.
Literally, like, come on. It's the only thing that matters. But yes, Wyatt is fine. Hopefully he'll be back for the next one. If not, I'm going to be hitting you up again. So, you know,
I'll be here. Maybe
stay classy. We'll do a Spider-Man review at some point. Maybe not. It's
at this point.
At this point, it sucks. Like, move on.
Come back at Avatar.
Exactly. Avatar is going to be better. But with all that being said, we love you very much, and as always,